Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video about my TBR for the Reading Rush, which is a readathon in July 22nd through 28th. It's previously called the Booktubeathon, and it was created and hosted by Ariel Bassett. I think there's another person, but I forgot her name. So I've discovered that I'm horrible at TBRs. So this TBR isn't going to be like, these are the books I'm definitely going to read for each challenge. It's just options that I have on my bookshelf for like books that might work for this challenge. So I'm gonna have like a few different options for each challenge. Except for one challenge, I have one book that I'm pretty sure it's gonna be that book. July 22nd through 28th, I'm actually moving to a new apartment on I'm sorry, my cat is like stretching and it's so funny. But yeah, I'm moving August 1st, so July 22nd through 28th, I'm probably going to be busy with like packing and whatnot. My sister's been out of the country all summer, and they're having I guess like just like an event out of town on the 27th and 28th, so I'm probably going to be going to that. So I'm not sure how much time I'll have to read on those days, but I'm gonna do my best. I might not read 7 books, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the first challenge is to read a book with purple on the cover, and I have a few different options. You can see my stacks of books here on my bed. So my first option for this is Keeper of the Lost Cities Lodestar. I'm sorry if you can't see this very well, because I'm sitting a little bit farther away from the camera because I wanted to sit on my bed. And I might read some of these options that I list before the the Reading Rush, because I'm currently reading Always Never Yours, and I'm pretty sure I will finish this before the Booktubeathon starts, because it's only July 17th right now, so I still have it's Wednesday, so I still have the rest of today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I don't work on Fridays, so I will have a lot of time to read over the weekend, hopefully. So probably finish this, and I'll probably read one of these books that I'm listing for the Booktubeathon. Keeper of the Lost Cities, this is the 5th book in the series. And the series is about, like, the first one is about this girl named Sophie who finds out that she's an elf, and so she's whisked away to the elven world. And I just love this series so much. It's just so like whimsical. I love the characters and just the plot line. It's just amazing. So definitely one of my favorite series, even though it's middle grade, but I actually really like middle grade, so yeah. So that's my first option. My next option for a book with a purple cover is Viper by Bex Hogan, and this book I got in the Fairy Loot box. I've only ordered one Fairy Loot box ever, but I ordered the Favorites box for this year. It was their like 3rd year anniversary box in March. So this was one of the books. They had 2 books in that box. That's why I decided to order that one of all the boxes. I just think the cover is beautiful, just saying. But it does have this like dark purple background. I'm not totally sure what it's about. I think it's about like, it's kind of like a piratey, like sailing the seas kind of story. So yeah, I might read this one for the purple cover. My next option for a book with a purple cover is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in a new, I think, series that they're writing. They wrote the Illuminae series. Yeah, so this book is just basically about this group of misfits who are apparently the last hope for the entire galaxy. And at the top it says they're not the heroes we wanted, they're just the ones we could find. And that just sounded so funny to me, so I just really wanted to read this. I have not read the Illuminae trilogy yet, but I really want to, but I haven't picked it up yet. But this one I have picked up, and I'm honestly probably gonna go with this one for book with purple on the cover. It has this nice purple in the background, but I'll probably go with this one because the audiobook is on Scribd, so it'll be helpful to have like an audiobook to be able to counteract like the other books. Okay, and my last option for a book with purple on the cover is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is also like a space themed sci-fi. The main character, Spensa, she wants to be a pilot, but her dad was not brave, and bravery is really, really valued in this world. So she's kind of like it's kind of frowned upon for her to become a pilot because of her dad, but she still wants to become a pilot. I believe there's flight school in this, so it sounds like it would be interesting. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably go with Aurora Rising, but this also has purple on the cover, so I might go with this one if I change my mind. Okay, the next challenge is to read a book in the same spot the entire time. This book, I'm 99% sure this is what I'm going to read for the challenge. I only have one option right now. It's a graphic novel. I usually read a lot like in my bed, at my desk, and on a comfy chair I have in my living room. So it'll probably be in one of those areas, probably in my bed. But I wanted to pick a graphic novel for this one, for one, to help like lighten my load with the challenges, and for another thing, just because it's reading in the same spot, I thought it would make it easier if I read a graphic novel. So the graphic novel I want to read for this is Umbrella Academy Volume 2 by Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba. I read the first volume of this earlier in the year. It's kind of about a group of like in the first one, there's just these women who get pregnant randomly like that day and like give birth that day. So it's not like they were pregnant for 9 months. They like literally went to full term immediately. And so it's about this man who has some of those babies who were born on that day, and kind of just trains them to be superheroes. Excited to pick up this one. I have not watched the TV show yet, but I want to because I've heard it's good. So that's this book. The third challenge is to read a book that you meant to read last year, and I don't really have a whole ton of these because I usually don't pick books ahead of time. Like I'll have books that I got last year and I didn't get to, but I wasn't necessarily planning on reading them last year, if that makes sense. Yeah, I was kind of unsure of what to pick for this challenge. I do have a couple of options that I think would work. So the first one is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I had actually last fall started a reread of the Harry Potter series, and I got through book 4 by the end of the year, and I read book 5 earlier this year. So I was thinking maybe this would be a good option because I started the reread last year. And my other option is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I had actually kind of wanted to I had actually kind of wanted to read this in the fall last year because it seems like very fall vibes. Vicious, this book is about 2 college roommates who create this way to make like people have extraordinary powers. And it's kind of like neither one of them is necessarily the good guy, as far as I know. But for one thing, I love the cover. And for another thing, it just sounds really good. It has a lot of high praise. So I might go with this one. I've heard that the chapters are shorter, so it makes for a quicker read. So I may go with this one as opposed to Harry Potter. I don't know yet. And if I do read this one before, this is one of the ones I might want to read before the booktubeathon. So if I read this one before the booktubeathon, I will probably just read Vengeful for this challenge if I decide to do that over Harry Potter. So the next challenge is to read an author's first book. So I have a couple of options for this one too. My first option is one that I've already mentioned, which is Viper by Bex Hogan. And as far as I could tell by on Goodreads, this is the first book by this author. It's also, it's also signed, which is exciting. And if I read this one I could count it towards like purple on the cover and author's first book, so I might be able to double up with that challenge, since like I said, I'm probably going to be really busy during this week. The next book I have for this challenge is Solitaire by Alice Oseman, and I read Radio Silence early this year. I really enjoyed it. I have not heard as good things about this one as I did about Radio Silence. Radio Silence is very popular, and I don't think I've actually heard a bad thing about Radio Silence, but I'm talking about Solitaire. So this is Alice Oseman's first book. It's just a contemporary. I don't really know much about it because I had heard a lot about Radio Silence and I was born for this, so I just went ahead and bought this one in the UK paperback cover too. Yeah, so I really don't know much about this, and the synopsis on the back doesn't really, you can read it, but it doesn't really give me much more information. So the next challenge is to read a book with a non-human main character, and I have a few options for this one as well. A couple of them I've already mentioned. The first being Harry Potter, because there are lots of non-human main characters in this, like witches and wizards. I mean, I guess they're technically human, but they're like not humans like us. And there are like ghosts and stuff like that. And if I read this one and then decide I still want to read Harry Potter for this challenge, I could just read the next in the series. And that's the same case for the next book, which is Lodestar, or Keeper of the Lost Cities Lodestar. This one, like I said before, the main character's an elf. There's also like gnomes, an alicorn, which is like a Pegasus and unicorn combined. And if I read this one for purple and for this challenge, I could double up like that. That would be very helpful. The next book is a new book that I haven't mentioned in this video yet, and that is The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. It's the second book in the Heroes of Olympus series. I recently read the first book. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like set in the same world as Percy Jackson, but it's following new characters and like a new prophecy. And yeah, I enjoyed it, so I'm excited to read the next one. I'm not sure if I'll read it for the booktubeathon. I mean, I keep saying the booktubeathon, for the reading rush. And it has like demigods. You can hear my cat, she's so cute. Yeah, so there's like demigods, a satyr, I'm not really sure how to say it, but that's like half goat. So yeah. And another option is I might just be able to like pick up, I don't have them yet, but pick up the next in a graphic novel series that I'm reading, like Saga or Rat Queens, because those also have non-human main characters. The next challenge is to read a book with 5 or more words in the title. I have a few options for this. So the first two, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Keeper of the Lost City's Lodestar. They both have more than 5 words. If I choose one of, like this one especially, I can count it for like purple on the cover, non-human main character, and 5 or more words in the title, so I might honestly do that because that would help me out a lot. So one of the ones I haven't mentioned yet is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. It's another contemporary about this girl who's obsessed with a boy band, and then she falls in love with one of the boys from the band. The next book I have as an option for this challenge is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. It has 5 words. I'm honestly probably not gonna pick this one for this challenge. I think from the synopsis it seems like there was like an accident and all of her friends were killed, but she was left mysteriously unharmed. So, and then something happens and she falls in love. So, we'll see. I probably won't get to this one, but it fits for the challenge, so I just wanted to have the option for myself. And we're on to the last reading challenge, which is to read and watch a book to movie adaptation. I don't really like this challenge that much just because I don't really watch a lot of movies that often, and if I do watch a movie, they're usually not a book to movie adaptation. I don't really have any I don't really have any good good options for this. I do have a couple, but they're both, I would probably cheat a little bit on both of them. One is Harry Potter, which I've already mentioned, and since this is the 6th book, I would probably just rewatch the first movie and read the 6th book, which is not technically like the movie of the book I'm reading, but I don't really want to watch the 6th movie when I haven't watched the first 5 recently, so I would want to start at the beginning, so that's why I would do that. And my other option is also cheating in a little bit. It's to read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, with the main character has cerebral palsy, and she lives in Washington DC and then discovers a portal to the world where the Beast character lives. So if I chose this, I would read this and then rewatch Beauty and the Beast, because this book is a retelling. So it's not technically a book to movie adaptation, but I really don't have any options for this challenge. So those are my the two closest things I can do to that challenge. There also is, on their new website that they developed this year, there's also going to be a badge for each of the challenges that you complete. I'll probably be doubling up on them just because I don't think there's any way, unless I just buy a bunch of graphic novels and count those all towards the challenge, that I can read an individual book for each challenge. So I'll probably be doubling up. There is also a badge if you read 7 books, because in the past with the Booktubeathon, before it was changed to the Reading Rush, before then, there was always the last challenge being read 7 books, but they decided to not make that an official challenge, but it's just kind of like a bonus challenge that still has a badge on the website, but it's extra credit, and I do extra credits sometimes if I really need to, but not I don't do it just for the sake of doing it if I already have an A in the class, so I might not be doing the extra credit. Those are my options for the Reading Rush. I know I kind of put a lot of options, but I really have a hard time with TBRs, so I just wanted to give myself options instead of saying I was gonna read something and then just being so not wanting to read that. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and if you are participating in the Reading Rush, let me know what are some books that you want to read. Maybe particularly let me know what book to movie adaptation you're watching, since I just like struggling so much with that prompt. But yeah, thanks for watching and I hope you have a good day. Bye.